Slavery is a dark chapter in human history that spans centuries and continents. It began in ancient civilizations and evolved into a global system that subjected millions of innocent people to involuntary labor, cruel punishment, and relentless human rights abuses. Today we will explore the history of slavery, starting from its earliest recorded instances in Mesopotamia through the British blockade of the African slave trade. The earliest recorded instances of slavery trace back to the Mesopotamian Code of Hammurabi, around 1860 BC. However, the practice likely predates these records. In ancient Mesopotamia, slaves were acquired through various means, including spoils of war, collateral for debt, and victims of piracy and kidnapping. They were used for a wide range of tasks, from domestic chores to labor-intensive public infrastructure projects. Other ancient civilizations, such as the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans, also maintained intricate systems of slavery. In these societies, slaves could potentially alter their social status and even acquire citizenship, depending on their circumstances and the laws of the time. Slavery was an integral part of the economic and social fabric of these civilizations. The scale of slavery significantly escalated during the transatlantic slave trade, from the 15th to the 19th century. This period is often referred to as the Maafa by African scholars, meaning great disaster in Swahili. European colonial powers, driven by the economic demands for labor in the Americas, purchased abducted Africans from their African captors and transported an estimated 12 to 15 million to the New World. Slavery in the Americas was a distinctly racial institution. Africans and their descendants were subjected to lifetime servitude, devoid of basic human rights. They were treated as chattel, and their children were born into the same destiny of unending servitude. This racial dimension of slavery was a divergence from ancient practices and sowed the seeds of racial tensions that continue to influence societal dynamics today. During the 17th and 18th centuries, the Enlightenment era and the rise of humanistic philosophy sparked discussions on human rights, freedom, and equality. These conversations catalyzed several abolitionist movements across Europe and North America. The first significant success of such movements was the passage of the Slave Trade Act by the British Parliament in 1807, which prohibited the slave trade within the British Empire. The British blockade of the African slave trade was a pivotal moment in the fight against slavery. The Royal Navy was tasked with enforcing the ban, and they intercepted and liberated thousands of slaves bound for the Americas. This action set a precedent for other nations to follow and marked a significant step towards the eventual abolition of slavery. Despite formal abolition, former slaves and their descendants faced systemic racial discrimination embedded in societal structures. Abject racial segregation, discriminatory laws, and socio-economic disparities persisted, leading to civil rights movements in the 20th century and continuing struggles for racial equality today. The history of slavery is a chilling reminder of humanity's capacity for cruelty and inhumanity. It is also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, demonstrated by those who resisted, revolted, and survived this monstrous system. It is essential to remember this history, to honor the victims, to learn from our past mistakes, and to strive to create a world anchored in equality, dignity, and human rights. Until we understand the reality of the history of slavery, and the fact that people still living in these conditions, we can't work towards a future where such injustices are never repeated. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe for more educational content. Check the description below for links to our exclusive homeschool materials by Swan Academy.